All right, if you're in the chat and you're watching the live stream, please say good morning in the chat, just so that I know you're out there. Good morning, Jasmine. Good morning, Evan. Jen, how's the stream? Yay, sound and video is good. That's always good. Didn't have any weird Wi-Fi hiccups this time. All right, so we'll just give it a couple minutes, let people get here. I did start the stream a couple minutes early. All right, if you're in the chat, please say good morning. Good morning, Brady. Morning, Kayla. Good morning, Dylan. Don't worry about being late. I haven't even started yet. We're just letting people get here. I did start the stream a couple minutes early, so please sit tight and be patient. We're just going to try to give as much chance for as many people to appear in the chat as possible before we start. Good morning, Matt. All right. All right, so we see Evan, Jasmine, Brady, Dylan, Kayla, Matt. Obviously, Jen LaRock is here. But hopefully some of those other people who are around can say hello in the chat. If you haven't said hello yet. We're up to 9 concurrent viewers now. So if you are in the chat and you have not yet said good morning, please do so. Oh, Jack is here. Don't worry about changing your account. I know who Cracker Jack is now. Okay? Don't worry about changing it. It's all good. You absolutely can make it on paper if that is easier for you. And then maybe just try to take a picture of it and send me a copy of the picture. That would be totally fine. Okay, so we've given everybody a few minutes to make it. If you haven't yet said hello in the chat, please do so, just so I can mark you for attendance. Otherwise, we're going to hop into the course. Again, remember, once I'm looking at the Google Classroom, I can't see the chat for a short period of time, but then obviously I will pop back over to the chat afterwards. So please feel free to type your questions into the chat. But if you need to send me an EdSpeed message afterwards or just have a little side conversation, I will stick around to the end and we can set something up, okay? All right, so switching over to the Google Classroom, as promised, I didn't add too much today because we are heading towards the finish of the week and you have 2 big things that are still sitting out there that need to finish. So the first one, I changed the title of this one just so that the page number of the textbook is more obvious. So on page 33 of the Crossroads 9 textbook, which is up here, there's a task around creating a media poster around acceptance and being accepting of people for who they are. So the instructions are in here. I've gone over it a couple of times. So hopefully everybody here has had a chance to go over it. If you're somebody who likes enjoying online design, the Canva program here is free and fun to use. It makes lots of cool graphics. So please feel free to take a look at that. But as Dylan asked in the question in the chat, can you do it on paper? Absolutely, you can do it on paper. So don't worry about it having to be perfect in terms of it being like, I'm not an art teacher. I'm not marking you on that. I'm marking you on content, ideas, and design. Okay? So please take some time and go through that. The other one is the character sketch. Okay? So the link leads you to a description of the character sketch. The instructions does say do it in groups, but obviously due to COVID being on distance learning, we're going to do this individually. You will be picking 5 traits, and as it explains in there, a trait is something that makes up the personality and the character of that person, right? So you're not necessarily going to talk about them being hungry. You're not necessarily going to talk to them about being tall. You're going to talk more about smart, kindness, meanness, etc. Like use descriptive words or words that describe who they are, and then talk about an example in the book that tells you that that is the case. The skill we're working on here is called inference, which is some people might also think of as an educated guess. The book is not going to have a sentence that says, Crab is smart. But there are examples of activities and things that Crab has done in his story that would lead you to believe that he is smart. So, therefore, just tell me about that example. So if you pick smart, and everybody here can pick smart as one of their 5 traits. I'm not going to say don't use smart, even though I keep using it as an example, right? So what examples from the book, in your own words, describe how he is smart, okay? So you'll pick 5 traits and then briefly explain it. You can do it as a piece of art, but you don't need to, okay? It can just simply be a list of traits with some short writing afterwards, okay? So both of those are previously assigned from other days. I've left them in today's work because obviously we're still working through it. I moved yesterday's work down here. and then the older work continues to be shifted down into these sections down at the bottom. Okay? So, for today's work that hasn't been previously assigned, journal number 3 for crab. So obviously read and or listen to the audiobook for journal number 3. Okay? Try your best to respond to more than one of these questions using full sentences. Okay? Your response choices are there. Number 1, Silent Sam is the name of the vodka that crab drinks. How might the name Silent Sam be a symbol, something that represents more than what it actually is for the way Crab goes about his life in high school? Question number 2. Do you think it was fair that Crab received no punishment from the principal for being caught with alcohol at school? What do you think would happen if you were caught here at, forgot to change it to CCSS, but at that particular school? Number 3, to what degree do you think Crab's parents are responsible for Crab's behavior, especially his drinking? Please explain your response thoroughly. Okay? And then, of course, you have some definitions to look up. Salle de temps. Okay? I put translation here because obviously this is a French word, okay, that is sometimes used in English. And then ponderous is the other word. Okay? So Crab journal number 3 to work on. We then have more paragraph editing. Now, I think it was Jasmine that sent me a note saying, PDFs versus documents. It's totally fine to just upload your own document. So each one of these has a paragraph on it that has lots of errors, at least 10 to fix. Okay? It is done in duplicate, so even though each page has 2 paragraphs, you only have to do it once. But what I'd like you to do is to either print off and mark off with a pencil, use a program to overwrite on this, or just retype the errors as you see them into either a Google document or just put it in the private comments. And you should be able to find 10 errors in each one. Okay, you might look for errors in capitalization, punctuation, spelling, or grammar. Okay, and so there are 3 of these, as you can see. Okay, so do your best to try to get them done. Okay, and I don't think that it should be too time consuming, but be patient with yourself if it takes you a bit of time. Editing is an important skill in order to spend the time to make sure that what you're putting out there in the world is your best work, right? Rough drafts are one thing. Rough drafts can have errors and mistakes and so on. But the hope is that you're not pushing out things that could be refined to made better. Okay? The last one is hopefully going to be interesting for you. Okay? It is a short little movie study. Okay? The movie is 6 minutes long, and it is a highly award-winning movie, like won an Oscar for Best Short, called Hair Love. Okay? So below is a link to a YouTube short film called Hair Love. It has won awards not only for its lovely story, but for its enriching presentation of a Black family experiencing a real life, instead of typical stereotypes often used in stories. I would like you to watch the film and then answer the following questions in either a comment or an attached Google document. Okay? Do you like the movie? Why or why not? Every answer is fine as long as you explain your reasons. Number 2, this movie has no words in it. Did you miss them? Why do you think words were not chosen for this story? Number 3, why do you think that this movie won awards? And number 4, what can we infer by the mother having no hair at the end of the story? So you have 4 questions there to work on. Okay? All right. Sounds good, Dylan? Hey, Rod? Okay, so those are the ones that I assigned to you today. Everything else is either old work has already been previously assigned. So any questions about what the asks are for today? Is lonely a trait? Is lonely a trait? I would say that you could make the argument that feeling lonely or being lonely can be considered to be a trait because he Crab makes Crab makes some choices to sort of isolate and keep himself apart. So you could use depressed also as a trait. Okay, so I would say that you can certainly make that argument, and depending on how you write it, I might offer you some feedback on how to make it a little bit more expanded. Okay, so give it a try. So that's really it for me. It's just a short live stream this morning because I obviously have not given you as much new stuff as other days. So please spend some time going through the work. I'm going to be spending part of my morning making sure that everything that has been submitted is marked and returned to you in case you need to add a bit more to it. But overall, I am impressed by all of you and your attendance at these things and your ability is, to push through and work through at a distance. And most importantly, is that I'm here if you need me. Miss Bernie is obviously still around at her drop in room 2 if you need her. And also, Miss Beal is available in the resource room if you need her. And I put that link on the stream in the Edsby and in the Google Classroom. So all of those people, all of those adults are here as well if you need. So please get in touch, send us a message, send us an email. We will absolutely be around as you need it, okay? So otherwise, I will say hop to it, get to work, cross fingers for warmer weather tomorrow, and you've almost survived the first week, which is fantastic. So I'll say adios for now, and we'll reconvene at 2 o'clock for a Google Meet. But in the interim, please feel free to send any messages that you wish. Okay? So I'll say bye. You too, Dylan. Please get in touch if you need help. Bye for now, Jasmine. All right, seeing no more questions, I'm going to end the stream. I will see you guys at 2 o'clock.